What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. I'm Clark Taylor, your host today. It is April 19th, Friday, April 19th. I've got a sweet crew riding with me today. Basically the same crew as yesterday, plus one. First, I'm going to send this one out to Philadelphia, head of opinions, Anthony Ricciardi. Good to see you again. How are you today, my friend?
Feels like I just finished the show with you. Looking forward to it. It's a jam-packed wrestling weekend. TNA's got a show tomorrow night. AEW's on Sunday, and SmackDown tonight.
Absolutely. I'm excited about it. We've got over in the comments already on Instagram with JW Official 26. How are you? How are you? Good to have you. Thank you for joining the show. Absolutely. Up next, back once again, not a return this time. We've been seeing him all week, but all the way out in the DMV. Shadi, how are you doing? The Tuesday Night Delight.
Yeah, I have played out the return card. I've been on darn near every show this week except for Wednesday, and I will be on. This is the last show I'm on for this week, but I'll be back next week. Yeah, y'all don't have to miss me anymore. You may be getting tired of me this week, but I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to talk about the topic at hand.
100%. I am too. We've also got over in the comments here. We've got Andy Wen with AEW previews. Yes, sir. We're going to get into that. No doubt about it. We've also got LA Knight is going to beat AJ Styles. Yeah. From David Mods. What's going on, David? He's got his twos up as well. It's Friday. Sweet crew. As I mentioned, plus one from Throwback yesterday. Don't call it a flashback Friday, but I'm having flashbacks because guess who's here all the way across the pond from Scotland? Soul. What's going on, Soul?
Clark, it's very interesting when you say that because, it's weird because think about it. A year ago was, before my summer excursion, shall we say, was the last daily I did with you guys. But, I'm back now. Things have changed. Things are the better. And, I'm behaving, of course, because, the boss man, well, hang on. The boss man isn't here, so party times. Let's get going.
He's got his apple juice ready to go for today's show. I love it. I love it. It is a party, though, on today's show. No doubt about it. David's stoked to be here, too.
My man is drinking a failed urine test right now. I'm just joking around. Sorry.
That is a great one-liner there, if I've ever heard one shot. Okay, let's get right into the previews, though. Let's talk about it. One of my favorite matches on this card, because one of my favorite acts going in pro wrestling is the Timeless One, Toni Storm. I love all the work that she's put in. Happy to have Thunder Rosa back from what was a more gruesome injury than I think a lot of people realize. Have your spine operated on is not easy to come back from. Completely changes the way you operate. And a lot of that moveset, Fire Thunder Driver, not as easy to deliver these days, but Thunder's back. She's healthy. She's in the title picture, and I'm excited for this match. Personally, I'll start with my prediction first out of the gates. I'm going with Toni Storm retains. I don't think this Toni Storm reign is over, and I think the logical person to take that title off Toni Storm is Mariah May, but that's just my personal opinion. I'm going to go to you first, Anthony. Your pick, your thoughts on the match. Who's winning this one? Who's going home with the title?
First off, Thunder Rosa to me is one of those underrated performers. Between injury and backstage nonsense, kind of derailed her run the first time around. I would love to see her take the title off of Toni Storm, but I do think Toni is going to retain. I don't know if Thunder's going to be the one to take it from her, but I think Toni holds it at least till Double or Nothing. If she doesn't end up holding it to All In and then maybe loses it there, I don't know, but I do think Toni retains tomorrow night or Sunday night.
Sorry about that. Interesting. That is so you've got Thunder Rosa going home with the title.
No. I said Toni. I said I think I
okay.
wouldn't mind seeing Thunder win it, but I think Toni's going to retain.
I got it confused there for a second. I'm sorry. I had a slight audio issue. That's why I had to clarify. I'm like, wait, what exactly did you say? Okay. We're good to go. Toni Storm. So we got 2 picks for Toni. Shad, I'm going to go to you next. Toni Storm or Thunder Rosa tonight. How do you see it going? What do you see finish wise?
So this is going to be a match where the numbers are going to go against Thunder Rosa. Now, it would probably make sense. Oh, yeah, Toni Storm has Mariah May on her side. Of course she's going to win. That's not the person we need to worry about. I think Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa's interaction on Dynamite this past week, as well as the interaction of how Deonna felt when Thunder Rosa got the win when they were a tag team together, is going to be the cause for Toni Storm to retain the title. I think Deonna turns heel this Sunday. She is going to be a key part for Toni Storm retaining. Toni's still technically the heel, even though she's over like crazy. But Deonna's going to step in, and we're going to continue and build a feud of Deonna and Thunder Rosa, which I'm very excited for, because a heel Deonna and a babyface Thunder Rosa is going to be a banger of a feud. But I got timeless Toni Storm retaining. I don't think it's tough because I do like Thunder Rosa a lot. She's one of the more like premier, damn near Mount Rushmore women on AEW's roster. But I don't think she needs the title right now, and I think you got a lot more meat on the bone with Toni Storm as champ. So I'm gonna go with timeless. You're muted.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to get this sorted and we're good to go. But so we've got 3 picks for Toni Storm so far. I think we're all in agreement there. I'm going to go to you next, Sol, but we do have a couple more comments over here on Instagram. Sonny Dalton and Sandy, good friend of the show with What's Up Throwback Thursdays on a Wild Friday. I love it. Yes, we are. And then he added, and new AEW Women's Champion in the Howard Finkel voice. So we now have a pick over on Instagram for Thunder Rosa. Will Sol also make that same choice, or is Sol going to join the rest of us? Toni Storm goes over tonight. And how does it happen, Sol?
I mean, I don't know. First of all, Clark, are you drinking the concentrated urine like me, or is that why we're getting all these issues right here, mate? I mean, take a break, son. Take a break. But you know what? Into the predictions here. I'm going to give the most, I could give the whole fun what I would like to see. I'm going to give what I think will happen kind of predictions. Regarding to Thunder Rosa, she's always been one of my favorite female wrestlers within AEW. If I had to, go on the hand, Britt, Thunder, Serena Deeb, Hikaru Shida, and Rio, they've been my most entertaining female wrestlers within AEW. But looking at logistically, I think Toni Storm is going to retain tonight because they've set up things for the future. Obviously, the big thing is Mariah May, which I think will happen at All In. I think that's the Women's Championship match we are going to get for All In. Also, they've been teasing Mina Shirakawa, I believe it is, from Stardom, who had a past faction with Mariah May for Forbidden Door. So there's a lot of stories still in the pipeline here, and I think that's where we're going to go with Toni's reign. I don't think Toni Reign's been absolutely bad. I think it's been actually very stellar. She's been amazing with character work. Key thing is I always like to say is, where do we go from here? I think with Toni afterwards, obviously going for Forbidden Door, it'll be Mina. But I think for Double or Nothing, honestly, I think it should maybe be a triple threat with Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa, linking back to Revolution and obviously Dynasty. A nice way of maybe wrapping up this whole triad of women's wrestlers fighting over the title. I will say, though, I do think on the Dynasty show, we are definitely going to see Deonna Purrazzo cost Thunder Rosa the match in some way, and that will be a feud between those two, leading to what I suggest, the triple threat, Double or Nothing. Because I definitely feel like Deonna is going down a different path, that sort of heelish path of trying to, she got her opportunity and lost it. Now Thunder Rosa stepped up. I feel like Deonna thinks, no, I still have more of a chance to get that opportunity, so let me take it. But, the old ranking suggests otherwise. So Thunder Rosa slipped into that spot as well. But, I'm excited to see what comes out of this. I think this match will be, I think a lot of people will just see this as the toilet break match, but I actually think it's going to shine and, blow people's expectations out of the water.
I agree. I think this is absolutely going to be a match that surprises people because both are so great bell to bell. Toni's underrated bell to bell, especially inside of this new character, working the little spots, talking to the camera and just the mannerisms, the way that she sells now It's completely different than early in her career. And that's where I think I agree with David Modge here. He said Tony's too strong to lose right now. I agree with that because I also think the Mariah May basically cosplaying the old Tony Storm. I mean, she's wearing the old red and black gear that Tony used to wear, right? This has to lead to a rivalry between those two.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. If Mariah May is not the person to beat Tony Storm for the title later on this year, then I think that's a big flop. Like I told y'all yesterday,
Yeah.
I mean this when I say this. I think she has been the best women signing on their roster this year thus far. When you're talking about what she has done for them in AEW, she's booked very well. She's done very good with TV time, and she's had great quality matches and part of a great storyline. So
yeah, I just basically had deja vu.
I'll say as well really quickly. I mean, imagine how, if we continue this whole year with Mariah using Tony's old character and theme and everything. And while I'm not personally the biggest fan of her AEW theme for Mariah May, I think a lot of people will pop when she actually, goes back to her own identity all in and has her own music hit and her own style and her own gear. Because I definitely think that will be a very, loud pop moment when she basically embraces herself.
Yeah, I think it reminds me of when WWE introduced Mickie James. They had her as a follower of Trish Stratus, and she was dressing like her, and she was. That's what it reminds me of. But I do want to say I agree with our resident Howard Hughes down there, who said that it's going to be a heck of a match. I do think it's going to be a heck of a match.
For sure. And I mean, Shad, I had deja vu from yesterday because, we had this conversation basically about Mariah May, and you said very similar there. And I not to sound like a broken record, but I basically compared her to Swerve Strickland. That's what I see as far as her as a signing. Swerve has the ascent. Not that Mariah May wasn't great before she got to AEW, but to take that next step the way that she has with the character work and everything is pretty unbelievable. And to Soul's point, setting up for that moment at All In, I didn't even think of it that way. In her home country, right? She's English. Correct me if I'm wrong there, right?
Yeah, she's English. Sadly, not Scottish, the best part of the UK, but yes, she is English.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
that would be a crazy moment for her for sure. Like I like that idea a lot.
Well, they did it with Saraya last year, so it would make sense.
Yeah, but no offense to Saraya, Mariah May's.
No, I'm just saying they've done the hometown thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is. We saw it last week on Raw with Sammy in Quebec. Like it's pretty important when you have a superstar to give them that moment in their hometown, and I definitely agree with y'all on that. That would be pretty dope to see.
Yeah, that seems like the route. Like, I mean, if I was writing it, if I had the pencil, Soul, I would go that route. I didn't even, I mean, I was on the same page as you, but I didn't even have it out that far, right? Like, I didn't hash it out that way. So I love that one. Sonny Dalton and Sandy in the comments over on Instagram has a great question. He asked, which women's story is more interesting right now? The Mercedes Willow and Julia, or the Storm Thunder and Mariah May with Deanna? And we'll just toss it around the horn really quick.
I say the latter. The Tony Storm one is more interesting to me.
What do you got, Soul?
I think it's interesting because I think with the women's championship, there's maybe 3 storylines going on with it at the moment. There's Deanna going on to face with Thunder currently with Tony, but then there's Tony and Mariah in the background. If I had to say the most interesting out of them, it's Tony and Mariah, then followed on by Thunder Rosa and Tony, and then obviously with Deanna maybe going after Tony. I don't think the TBS championship storyline is bad per se. I think with Mercedes maybe going on against who I think is going to win that match, I'll save that for later. And then I think with Julia, there's many things you could do with her afterwards, maybe with Sky Blue or Serena Deeb or even a Yuya Sakazaki or something in that situation. There are many ways you could take this, and I think that's very interesting. I feel for the TBS Championship storyline in particular, unlike the Tony Storm thing, I think it's really hitting the echelon, the end part of its current storyline. So I'm very interested to see where we go from there and if they continue the ball.
Absolutely. I like that. I like that a lot. Shad, which one would you say?
If you asked me this a month ago, I would have said the TBS because I thought the initial debut of Mercedes Moné was captivating. Also tying it with her, feud in New Japan before she got injured with Willow, tying that back together. And I just love everything about what Julia Hart has done as the TBS Women's Champion. I think you have a lot of great pieces there, but it's kind of stuck in the mud a little bit. It's not bad. It's not
Yeah.
bad at all. It's actually been pretty good, but it's a little stuck in the mud. And while it's been stuck in the mud, we've saw this storyline for the AEW Women's Championship kind of tread waters and kind of hit into the next gear going into this dynasty because I think it's Thunder Rosa and Mariah May to me, man. I
Yeah.
think Thunder Rosa did a lot of great work on Dynamite last week, and the stuff with her and Deanna is very exciting to see. And I just think the whole protege, like what Anthony said, kind of reminiscent of the whole Mickey James and Trish storyline. Like I like it a lot. I know NXT is also doing it with Tatum,
Yeah.
who's the GOAT and the greatest women's wrestler of all time, and Lyra. Like it's I like playbacks of that, but both of those storylines are different than that initial one. And of course, the Tatum one is better. So yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I hear
Keep that
you.
to Tuesday, mate. Keep that to Tuesday.
Not to sound like a cop out
Tuesday to
here,
Friday. It's
but
all
I,
good.
I would say that the women's title storyline is more interesting, but I still think Mercedes Moné is the most interesting, captivating character in that division right now.
I
The
think, I
CEO
think,
and Tony Storm is great. You know how much I love Tony Storm, but it's Mercedes Moné. It is the star power there, the involvement. She
yes,
matters that much.
the superstar is more captivating because we have to acknowledge who she is as Mercedes Monet,
Right.
formerly known as Sasha Banks. But if we're just talking about how it's booked at the moment, I can't I can't
It,
discredit Tony and Mariah May. I think they're doing wonders right now as characters.
my exact thoughts, literally, like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it. And
Yeah.
I hate to do like the cop out like that, like, oh, it's a little of both, but like, you know what I mean. But yeah, story. If the question is storyline, it's the women's title picture. If the question is like captivating, it's still Mercedes because she's earned that for sure. Although Matt Williams has a hilarious comment here with only thing the AEW women's division is missing is Natalia Neidhart. What a star! Me, me and Soul's buddy from CVS last year, Natty.
Natty Nightheart,
That
man.
is a crack up. Okay, but
Wow.
let's move on to our next match because we got a ton of predictions here for everybody. Let's talk about Bryan Danielson, Will Ospreay. Many people, I'm sure, would consider this one a dream match. This could go either way. I think with the current momentum, and Danielson can still take losses, and it doesn't matter because he's Bryan Danielson. I'm going to pick Will Ospreay to start us off. But Shad, I got to get your thoughts too. Who you got, Ospreay or Danielson? Isn't it Goat versus Billy Goat? What are we talking about here?
Right. It is. It's the presumably the GOAT, one of the best in ring wrestlers of all time, and Brian Danielson, and then you got the guy named Will Ospreay that you know a lot of us on this podcast have said that he's probably bell for bell the best professional, like I mean, in ring wrestler at the moment. So this is definitely a match that when Osprey's on there, this is like the one match where you're like, that has to happen, and my eyes will be glued on the television while that happens. And people have already, you know, penciled in this is match of the year because we probably think it's gonna be an absolute banger. So I'm excited for it, man. These guys are incredible workers. It's a match that doesn't even need a big storyline built into it. Just the match itself and the magnitude of how great those two are in ring sells you for it. Obviously, there's this whole dynamic with the Callis family and the Blackpool Combat Club. I'm hoping those factions don't do anything this match. Just let those two get in the ring, work, do what they do best, and put on a clinic and have the fans in attendance and on TV excited for it. So I'm hyped for it. I got Will Ospreay winning as well. It does more to benefit him, like you mentioned. Danielson is kind of just that vet at this moment. He doesn't need the title. He doesn't need to win feuds. He's just gonna help put guys over and put guys in great position. He did that in the Continental Classic with Kingston. I assume that he's going to do the same thing with Will Ospreay. This is going to be a big time match for Ospreay, and it's gonna just solidify him as you know the superstar he is, as well as potential future champ down the road. Who knows what's in his path? But I got Ospreay winning.
For sure. I've got Ospreay as well. And then good friend of the show, Andy, has Will Ospreay to win as well. So we've got 3 picks for Ospreay. A lot of agreement over here on the daily today. I like this. We're all on the same page about a lot of things. So Anthony, I got to ask, do you agree? Do you have Ospreay going over as well, or are you thinking otherwise?
No, it's Ospreay. He needs it. He's also the shiny new toy. So, but just in general, like, he needs it more than Danielson. Danielson's already cemented a legacy in this business. Ospreay's making his legacy. So Ospreay should go over.
Wow, we've got a clean sweep for Will Ospreay. Will Soul change the tide here?
I think this is the hardest match to predict on all of Dynasty's card. But my gut is saying Ospreay.
Yeah, clean sweep Will Ospreay. Hard to deny Will Ospreay and the work he's put in. Speaking of, since AEW, we had the one blip on the radar last week, I would say, right? We've talked about this at length on multiple shows. The Triple H thing was a little bit goofy. Other than that, he has been sublime. He has been absolutely as advertised every time he's out there on AEW TV. He is it's very rare when people are that hyped up that they live up to it. And he has done so in spades.
He's a once-in-a-generation talent.
Seriously, he continues to impress. I cannot say enough good things about his work. Honest to goodness. And speaking of things I can't say enough good things about, let's talk about Next Level. Our partners over there, the best. If you ever like, where do I find more wrestling content? This is the place. This is the spot. Go to nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic. All of our content across all platforms linked in one place. It's free to sign up, super user friendly. Everything's right there for you. Awesome wrestling community. If you're a wrestling fan, seriously, go sign up. And better yet, if you heard about our WrestleMania giveaway, it was unbelievable. Another giveaway, 2 copies of the WrestleMania edition of WWE 2K24, which is an awesome game. They finally got GM mode all the way right this time, which I love. Even though my cousin was totally whooping me last night in the game, it is one of the best games out there. And retail at $100, you can win. Go sign up, free to enter the contest, all of it. No gimmicks, no nothing. Next Level. Check it out. You'll love it. I promise. I'll put my name on that one every day for sure. Speaking of things I'm going to put my name on, let's talk about the Young Bucks and FTR. This is a matchup that is so big for tag team wrestling, because it was the one when FTR signed with AEW that we all were like, that's the match. And we've gotten it in a few different iterations, couple different routes to get there. In some ways, I like how spread out they've been. In others, I wish we got that clean series. Not over the top bugged by it, though. Anytime I get Bucks and FTR on a card, who am I to complain? They're 2 of the best tag teams in the world. I've got a weird feeling FTR pulls the upset. And I don't think anybody has that bet, maybe besides me, but I've got a weird feeling FTR somehow pulls this out. Young Bucks go with shenanigans in the ensuing weeks to set up the rematch, using their EVP status, making them even more heelish, even more whiny, even more frustrating, jumping over the top of other teams that are maybe more deserving of challenging FTR to get their rematch as soon as possible. That's the way I see it going, or that just might be fun for me to see. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go with that for my prediction, because let's break up the monotony. Let's not all pick the same teams. I'm kidding. But so I'm going to ask you first, Young Bucks, FTR, break it down for us, and who's going over and how.
So here's how my prediction. I'm going to actually tell you how I think this match will finish, right? I think Cash is going to be on the ladder and he's climbing up. The Bucks are out, Dax is out, Okada's out because Daniel Garcia has jumped him, and they're both out as well. So it's just Cash making the climb. Lights go out, lights appear again, and the scapegoat himself, Jack Perry's at the bottom of the ladder, and he pushes it over. Cash falls off. The Bucks get up, they climb, and they pull down the titles, because obviously this is a ladder match. And the Young Bucks, I think, are going to win and become the first 3-time AEW Tag Team Champions. We're going to have Jack Perry join the Elite, and build up this group with Okada with the Continental Crown, Bucks with the tag titles. If anything, maybe Jack Perry will go after the TNT Championship, held by Adam Copeland. That could be something we could see there. Because the way I think about it as well, because we obviously know Cash had his incident down in Florida that I don't think has resolved as of yet. So if that is going to interfere with plans, I wouldn't put the tag titles on somebody that you don't know where their situation is going to go. So that's why I think the Bucks. And also because the Bucks are very, hot right now with their EVP stuff and the elite stuff with Okada. Jack Perry as well. I think to have him come back and do that would be a very oh, wow, he's cost our favorite tag team of bald and hair. How could he do such a thing? And then I just hope, the Dynamite after Jack Perry's entrance, the Elite come out, do their little thing, kind of now introduce a new member of the Elite, Jack Perry, and all we get is Justin Timberlake, Cry Me a River as his entrance theme. Please, for the love of God, that would be absolutely hilarious. Not only just the fact that a wrestler is coming out to Justin Timberlake, but the fact that it is Cry Me a River, linking back to a certain incident back in 2023 would be kind of funny for me and myself. But hey, at the end of the day, I honestly do think the Young Bucks deserve the tag titles at Dynasty.
I would enjoy that. Actually, that's a great call there, Soul. I have no problem with that. In my head, if I was fantasy booking, I feel like for Jack Perry's sake, we almost have to get back to a spot where he's such a heel, he has so much heat, and then maybe Killswitch becomes Luchasaurus again, and we have a reunion there to just knock the dust off of all of this. That I had in my mind, but I don't know if it's ever a possibility because I just miss Baltimore. I miss doing the wave. It was fun.
Not for another 5 years. Not for a while. You ain't gonna be doing the wave for a very long time.
It was so fun though. So fun. Gotta love Baltimore. Anyway, okay. Next pick, Shad. Who you got? Bucks, FTR.
I like the idea that Soul had with "Tell me you love me, why did you leave me all alone?" That'd be awesome. I got the Young Bucks winning too, and actually, I kind of like his idea with Jack Perry coming in as the scapegoat and helping him out in aligning with the Bucks. But I got the Bucks winning. They're the EVPs. You gotta milk this heel character for what it's worth, man. They're gonna find ways to benefit themselves and keep themselves at the top of the food chain. So I got them winning. I think there's a more influx of babyface tag teams also, where it is more beneficial to have the Bucks as champs, where they can go through a couple feuds and presumably you can find whoever will take it off them later on. But I got the Bucks winning.
We got 2 Bucks, 1 FTR. Anthony, are you gonna change it up or are you going with the Bucks?
No, it's the Bucks. Jack's going to interfere, and the problem with it is if they keep leaning into the Crimea River, there's no payoff. All you're doing is promoting Punk more. It's not logical, and it's not going to get Jack over.
It is a really good song, though.
I understand it, but you're getting
that song will not play on Sunday.
No, but you're getting Punk more over, but not getting Jack. You're getting an incident where Jack got choked out in the back. That's what you're getting.
Yeah, but it was really Joe that choked him.
Joe did not jump.
Here's the thing.
Jack.
Here's the thing. To that point, you just have to look at Windy City Riots and the New Japan show where he was over as anything, and people were loving to chant.
It was Chicago because he was against one of their own.
It's true.
It's not.
And he dropped the Chicago flag on the ground.
Come on.
Which was that was a good move.
But that has nothing to do with getting Jack.
Hey, look! Just because Perry's more over than Punk in Chicago, okay, fair enough. I'm just saying.
Whoa! You must have not watched Survivor Series.
No, I believe his Howard Hughes drink is really interfering with his pick there. But go ahead, Clark. I think you're next.
I don't have a problem. Be quiet.
Okay, let's talk about a match that I'm actually really excited. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. Anthony, I'm sorry. This is a really funny comment from Matt Williams. Anthony hates Justin Timberlake. Noted. That's hilarious. No. You obviously don't, but that's really funny. No, but Hook and Jericho, we had a funny conversation about yesterday. I'm excited about it. Everyone that knows me knows I am the #1 Hookamaniac. And I have no doubt that on Sunday, Hookamania will run wild on Chris Jericho, slam him all over the ring, and choke him out right in the middle of that ring with that red rum. Speaking of adult beverages, he's going to have one of those, little rear naked choke. Taz mission, if you prefer. Suplex City, I'm going to love it because I love the Hookster. Anthony, I know you're critical of the segment Wednesday night, but we are going to pick this match. Hook Jericho. Do you see it going any other way than the Hookster running wild?
No, Hook should absolutely win. As a whole, I think I'm picked for these segments because you guys know I'm going to bury it. Honestly, Jericho, I loved Jericho growing up. Jericho should not be wrestling anymore. It's not good. Like, realistically, the Hook segment from the other night was horrible. They didn't handle it well. Hook waiting while his dad was getting jumped made no sense. Hook should go over. This thing should end after this. But knowing Jericho, this will drag out, just like Sammy Guevara can't get off of Jericho's hip either in these situations. Could Sammy return and cost Hook? Possibly. But realistically, Hook should go over, and that should be the end of his feud with Jericho. But knowing them, they won't stop.
Okay. You think so? Is your pick Jericho?
My pick is Hook, but it wouldn't surprise me if they drag this out.
Okay, wow, that scared me for a second there. The Hookster is going to run wild.
I said if Sammy got involved. If they're dragging this thing out, then that's possible. But I think Hook should win, and that should be the end of this thing.
No question about it. Soul, your pick. Hookster, Jericho.
Personally, I do want to see Hook just absolutely demolish Jericho because honestly, I don't know why. Why is this match on the main show and not the Trios unification match? That's my main gripe with this. Put Hook and Jericho on the pre-show because that actually incentivizes, Jericho's on the pre-show. Maybe some folks will just wander about searching Jericho one day and see that. Like, might buy the main show to see what's going on. And actually give the main match that's been built for a good fair while now of Bullet Club Gold and the Acclaimed on the main show, which it deserves because a title unification on the pre-show is a bit too good for the pre-show in my mind.
Hey, and also, FTW title is on the line.
Oh, whoop-de-bloody-do. Cool. I'm the guy with 2 6-man replicas that they changed the belt for 1 week, and now they're unifying the bloody thing. So now I'm just, didn't get me started.
Honestly, Tony Khan has shown that Ring of Honor doesn't matter to him. And, the fact that they're doing the unification match on a throwaway on a pre-show tells you just as much that he doesn't care. An unsanctioned title, main show.
Okay,
right,
so wait.
That's my point, right? I think Hook should win. The only reason I see Jericho winning, if he wins the FTW Championship and retires it, and either at a main event Dynamite, or if you want Double or Nothing, it's like a no-holds-bar match between Hook and Jericho, or like a loser leaves sort of situation, or an I Quit match. So Jericho can do a wee falsy tour, come back maybe around All In time for a big pop.
Yeah. I mean, you know me, I'm a Hookamaniac, so I hope not, but I do hear your point for sure. Shoddy, is it the Hookster?
Oh, no, it is not the Hookster. It is going to be Chris Jericho winning on Sunday, unfortunately. Look, Hook won the first match. I don't think he wins 2 in a row. I think this is a 3-match feud. And I think they are going to do something with Jericho as the FTW champion. I think he's going to win, man.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I got Jericho winning. This is just how Jericho is booked in AEW with young competitors. He feels like he's ascending them and helping them out. You can kind of debate if that is the case or whatnot. Plus, Hook don't really got a lot to do after that. And I think Double or Nothing is right around the corner. So,
Shad, I hear you, but I think you need to let Hook cook.
I had to break the walls down, bro.
Breaking the walls down. You got to let Hook cook, though, dude. The Hookster is ready for a big run.
I mean, you got to break the walls down.
I
earn
eat
a
my
lion's
chips.
Heart, and
say my prayers.
Whatever.
Is this just because Shad looks like he's dressed for the Jericho cruise? Is that what your next cruise is going to be?
Oh no, I just
he's fresh off the boat.
You didn't deny it. I'm just saying.
I did not. I did not go on. I would not waste my money on a Jericho cruise. I would waste my money on Royal Caribbean, which I did.
Jericho's not going to let this thing die after 2 matches. He's going to drag this thing out.
All right. Well, speaking of being dragged out, this match will not be dragged out. This match I'm super excited about because it's 2 of my very favorites in the AEW Women's Division. Julia Hart going from cheerleader to what she has become with the TBS title run and in House of Black, an impressive transformation, and one that I, when it first started, was skeptical of. Very skeptical. Boy, was I wrong. She's awesome in this role. It is really cool, and she plays it really, really, really well. Willow Nightingale, almost anyone that knows me knows, I think she is the best women's babyface going right now. There is nothing not likable about Willow Nightingale. It's remarkable, and that is really hard to do in professional wrestling. My pick, I think it's time to give Willow the belt. She's earned it. As great as Julia Hart's ascent has been, Willow's has been step by step just as good. I love it. Time to put Willow over, put the belt on Willow, see what happens here. I think she's one of the few baby faces that will still be cheered carrying a title belt. And that is so hard to do in today's day and age when it comes to pro wrestling. Shad, though, I'm going to go to you first. Your pick. How do you think it happens?
I must say this is a match that I'm excited for as well, just because I, like you, am a big fan of both women superstars. I think Julia Hart's character has definitely evolved throughout these the past year or so. And I said it, man. I think she is kind of like, how we give Rhea Ripley the props of being the heart of Judgment Day. Julia Hart is the heart, no pun intended, of the House of Black. She's the one that's kind of elevated through the House of Black while everyone else has kind of just been chilling on an island. So she's someone that doesn't need the TBS belt at the moment just because the character is so strong and she does so many different things that are within feuds against people, but also tied with the House of Black, just kind of how like Rhea is. Um, I don't think you need her to have the belt for the time being. I think she's had a great reign, and I think the move is to let Willow be champion because a couple things. One, you need to kind of elevate and create new stars in a way, and I think Willow is like on the cusp of becoming a superstar for their women's roster. Putting the belt on her, beating someone as over as Julia will kind of hit her to that next step. So I got her winning. I got her getting her moment at Dynasty, and it's gonna lead to her and Mercedes' feud eventually too, because we're gonna have to go back to that at Double or Nothing. So, sadly, it might be a short reign, but hey, a reign is a reign.
Definitely, definitely. I hear you. And we got over here in the comments, Andy, when in agreement with Willow Nightingale. It's Willow's time, as great as Julia's been. And I love the point you made about Julia not necessarily needing the belt because the character work's been so good. I totally agree with that. I think that's a great point. Anthony, do you see anything different here? Do you see Julia Hart retaining, or do you see Willow?
I think Willow should win. My only concern is this, because I really like Willow. I think she deserves better than being a transitional champion. And I have a feeling if they give her the belt, they're just going to toss this to Mercedes. That's my fear, because I just don't see them having Willow retain it against Mercedes.
I get it. Soul, your pick.
I do think it's going to be Willow. The only 2 people I could ever see taking the TBS championship off Julia would have been Sky Blue or Willow Nightingale. And I think Willow, the reaction Willow got when she came out, with the match with Adam Copeland against Brody and Julia was electric. People love Willow. She's also been a killer worker as well, doing the Stardom show during Mania weekend as well, and just being an absolute trooper. She's just, the way I describe Willow Nightingale in one word, honestly, is infectious. Just infectious energy, infectious laughs, and joy. This is somebody that I feel like is early. The best way to compare early Bailey with the hugger stuff and all that. It's just somebody that is truly loved and enjoyed. And I think with the TBS Championship, currently it's held by such someone of evil, dark, and gothic, where they're playing Green Day at 2 a.m. because there's so much angst and hostility. I'm now putting on Willow
Green
Nightingale.
Day as the punk band is all time, by the way. Keep going, Soul. Sorry.
Now, if you put it on Willow, it's like someone's playing 5 Seconds of Summer at 2 p.m. with a lovely cranberry juice in their hand.
September.
It's all lovely and frivolous now. It's absolutely joyful. So I absolutely do think Willow should win the championship at Dynasty. A lot of people will love that moment. But then comes the thing of Mercedes Moné at Double or Nothing. Do you have Mercedes lose her first match, which is also a championship match, and risk hurting Willow? Or do you let Willow win and retain the championship, but then risk hurting your big commodity women wrestler with Mercedes? I will say, though, that match at Double or Nothing, no matter what else is put on the card, I personally think will be the hardest match to predict.
I think so, too. And Sonny Dalton and Sandy added over on Instagram that Julia retains because Monet Mercedes at Double or Nothing is going over. So that does make sense. There's a lot of options here, and I agree with you. The Double or Nothing match will be really difficult.
But see, that would make me even more upset that Willow
frustrate me a little.
Does not get, like, she's been like putting in a lot of work, and I know you can probably argue, well, she was supposed to lose to Mercedes and not be the IWGP champion. Man, come on, bro. Like, this is Mercedes in a point. This is like, and this is the issue I said yesterday. This belt is gonna be positioned in a weird place because this is the secondary belt, and Mercedes is not a secondary belt title holder.
Right.
She is, and then like same problem when Jade had it. It did not feel like the secondary belt because Jade was more buzzing than the women who were holding the AEW women's belt. So, Mercedes should presumably be in a feud within Tony Storm or the Britt Bakers and for that type of belt. But I mean, who am I?
That's neither here nor there. I definitely hear where you're coming from there. Anthony, your pick in this match. Did we get your pick?
Yes, you got my pick.
We got your pick. Okay, good. We've got everybody's pick for this one. We're moving on. Sorry, I got confused there for a second. There's too much going on for me. We got Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly up next. This is a big match here. Obviously, we know the history from NXT. We know about Undisputed Era. We know all of that. I like the setup. I love that KOR is back. Some of the best work during the pandemic, Kyle O'Reilly on NXT. That rivalry with the 3 Stages match with Adam Cole, off the charts. Tough to be out as long as he was. He's back. I still don't think this time it's his night. And so I got Roddy Strong retaining and winning this match. Do you see anything different from that, Soul?
Obviously, I talked about this match in some brief on Wednesday's days. I'll keep it, very brief here. I think Roddy's going to retain. What I would like to see come out of this match is I would love to see Bobby Fish return and we get Red Dragon reformation and maybe have a feud with Undisputed Kingdom. That's something I would really, really just like to see because I really enjoy Red Dragon as a team. Obviously, I've had Bobby Fish on my show, so I'm a bit biased in that point. Take that with what you will. But I truly am happy to see Kyle back. I think he will be a very fun individual within AEW's division to, return. Like his whole Owen Hart stuff as well was fun. I actually did like the match with him and Darby at Double or Nothing. I think it was last year or the year before. I didn't have any problem with that match. I know the IWC didn't, well, whatever they think of and believe. But yeah, I definitely do think Roddy's got a bit more steam to give with this title run. So I'm happy for him to retain.
Absolutely. I hear you there. Roddy or KOR, who do you got, Anthony?
I think this is the match that has the potential to be a sleeper and steal the show because I think both guys can have a great match with pretty much anybody. But I think the numbers game will come into play and Roddy will retain.
Okay, absolutely. Shad, who do you got?
Man. So this, I agree. I think this is the toughest match to call because there's a good case for both superstars. And man, I'm really excited for this match, by the way. I think in ring, this is going to be like so good. And I think both guys are going to, when you go against your brother, like there's a point to prove. You want to show out him and put on a classic. So, except for the Usos, but neither here or there. Sorry, I know so like that.
That was gold.
I got Kyle O'Reilly losing because I think this is kind of, I know you hit a little bit of a swerve there.
You got me
I got
so
him
good
losing.
there.
I think it's a little early within the build to this. I think they'll extend this feud and it'll continue. Maybe Kyle is just like, fine, I'll work with y'all. Then he breaks out of them. But I'm gonna go with Roddy getting a dub on
Retaining.
Dynasty. Yeah.
Absolutely. We do have in the comments over here, a good friend of the show, Andy Wynn, with he's picking KOR. So you never know. You never know. I wish, but I just don't think right this second that one makes sense. I think Roddy's got more stuff to do, and we're getting closer and closer to Adam Cole coming back and being healthy, and that changes a lot of things for sure. Sonny Dalton and Sandy added, I feel they lost all steam with the Undisputed Kingdom, lost all steam. I forgot they were even in a faction. Another AEW fail. I agree that injury, though, is tough. The problem is, I think there was a lot of plans for a healthy Adam Cole in this build. So it's almost like a pause button more to me than that they've lost steam. Like, there is no steam, but I do think if you press play again, you get back into the show as soon as Adam Cole returns. It changes everything. He's a dynamic performer, and he's as good as anybody on the microphone. I think that will sort itself out, and you can't control the injury bug. And it struck Adam Cole, that's just part of the deal. Let's talk about another match, though. Huge one here. Okada versus Pac. The bastard Pac. This is the bell-to-bell banger of the night, and I can't believe I'm actually saying that on a card that has Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson on it. This, to me, is the one I'm, like, licking my chops for. I know Okada's going over. I don't care. I want to see how many times Pac can flip when he takes a Rainmaker. I think he can maybe hit a double flip. I'm wondering if he can go double backflip, McTwist, stick the landing, and then it's 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. But everything that happens before that is just going to be paint by numbers gorgeous. It's going to be awesome. I'm ready for this match. I'm excited about it. I think Pac is one of the most underrated talents in the world. And they stuck this guy with Neville. That's the geek from Harry Potter in WWE. And that is not who he is at all. That is not who he is at all. And Pac does not get enough credit for how talented he is. I could not be more excited for him to be in this match. I know he's not going over, but there's definitely a chance he steals the show tonight. Anthony, I'm assuming your pick is also Okada, but what do you think about the match as a whole?
It's Okada, and it's just another example of Pac in two companies that have misused him. Like, this is an underrated guy that can go, and he shows it everywhere he goes, but no one cares. The person controlling the book goes, all right, he's a guy that we could job out, and that's what it is. Like, I think it'll bell to bell to be a great match. Realistically, though, the fact that it's predictable takes a lot of my excitement out of it. I would prefer that it's not predictable of going, well, the shiny new toy is going to go over. That's what I feel when I see this and going, okay, Pac's going to lose again.
I hear you there. I do think, though, Pac is one of the few performers when it comes to something like this where he can make us believe for a minute. And that's my hope. That's my hope. Just make it look close. But I am in agreement that I wish it was less telegraphed when it comes to that. Soul, you're picking this match. Are you going? You're not thinking upset, are you?
No. I definitely think Okada is going to retain the Continental Championship against Pac. I do like seeing Pac. I actually recently, for some, I don't know what reason, I think I might have been under the influence. I went and watched 205 Live early day episodes, and just seeing Pac on them was a very breath of fresh air sort of thing. And I do think Pac has had some moments in AEW. I think, he is the first person in AEW to hold two AEW belts at the same time, the former All-Atlantic and the Trios titles at the same time. So he has got a bit of a, history and a record to his name within the company. Obviously he was injured in that parking lot brawl match against Claudio and Moxley just before All In, which is a shame. And I hope that, with him now formally back and doing things now, besides, AEW's biggest enemy, besides, vacancies and CM Punk, visa issues doesn't get involved, and we can actually see Pac do more and more, and actually maybe get a crowning moment at All In, which I think he rightfully deserves. But who I think is going to take the Continental Championship off Okada, I honestly think it's going to be Daniel Garcia.
Ooh, I like that call because I love DG. But yeah, absolutely, we got Okada going over. Both of us on the same page there. Shoddy, you're not thinking 16 beats the 1 seed here, are you?
Nah, I got the person that's not anywhere near as talented as Tiffany Stratton beating Pac on Dynasty. Okada, my bad, that's his name. Forgot the guy.
Go back to
Nah, I
Chase.
got hey.
Hey,
Just speaking facts, all right? Facts. Nah, I got Okada winning. I think it's a case where he's the I like the term that Anthony uses. He's the shiny new toy. He's
Yes.
the big free agent signing. He's just gotten the title, and yeah, he's gonna win. It's pretty easy to call that one. It is unfortunate. I think Pac is kind of similar to what I was saying about Claudio yesterday on the throwback episode, where he's so good, and we forget how good he is just because he's not booked to his potential. But it is what it is. I think it'll be a look. That's one of I say there's a lot of sleeper matches of the night. It's that and Kyle O'Reilly
Yep.
and Roddy. Those ones can be up there with the Osprey and Danielson match, bell for bell.
Totally. As far as the match is concerned, I completely agree. But now it's our main event. It's time for the main event of the evening. I can't wait for this one. I've been excited about it. I love Samoa Joe. But dang, Swerve Strickland's doing the best work I've ever seen out of him ever. It's the work the last year out of Swerve. You can't even quantify it. He is that dang good. I'm ready. I'm going to give my pick first. Swerve Strickland is your new AEW World Champion. Whose house? Swerve's house. Soul, whose house is it going to be?
So you guys knew I went to Revolution this year, where Swerve had his first opportunity in the title alongside Hangman Page. And I was very much in the defense that it wasn't Swerve's time just yet. I was more than happy with Joe winning that title and retaining it. And I now do believe in my heart that now is Swerve's time. This Swerve I'm 100% guarantee Swerve Strickland will walk out with that. Hang on. With that beautiful belt around his waist, because it is a beautiful belt in itself. I think the only thing out of it, though, is I'm ashamed that Samoa Joe hasn't gotten more time with it, because I think he has been absolutely killing it as the AEW World Champion. And I would absolutely love to see Joe get another reign next year at least, because he does have a lot to give for wrestling in itself. With Swerve, though, it's very historic him getting the title. What he said, being the first ever Black AEW World Champion.
Oh,
It's a man in himself fully deserves it, and it is a historic thing to see. And I would be absolutely happy and proud to see him representing the company I love.
I love it. I love it. Anthony, whose house is it going to be? Whose house?
All right. I wouldn't be disappointed with either one of them, but I got to be perfectly honest. Like I said yesterday, I do think they're going to drag this out to Double or Nothing. I think Joe's going to retain.
He's got Joe retaining. I like that. I like that too. Shoddy, whose house?
I have thought about this match, and it is difficult for me to call because Double or Nothing is right around the corner. It is a good opportunity to, keep kicking the can on Swerve for him to finally get his moment. Some sort of shenanigans can happen or whatnot. But you don't get these type of main event opportunities on pay-per-views, and you don't get stars that are undeniable. And I think Swerve is very much undeniable at the moment. Samoa Joe is phenomenal. I think he's done a great job becoming champion after the whole, MJF reign and everything going on with his health. It's Swerve's time right now. This guy has every tool to be a mega star on the roster and just carry AEW on his back. He's got the mainstream, ability of how he's able to, do stuff with other celebrities and musicians and stuff. I just think he has it written over him, superstar, and I think it'll be Swerve's moment on Sunday. I got him winning at Dynasty.
I think it's Swerve's time too. Absolutely. We got over in the comments Sonny Dalton and Sandy asking about mogul embassy and what happened to that. No explanation, no nothing, no nada. I can tell you what happened, and it wasn't executed perfectly. Swerve outgrew it. The plan was for Swerve to be a heel leader of that group, and he outgrew it. And that's unfortunate in some ways. Prince Nana's still there, but he absolutely outgrew that group, and it's I don't blame the route that's been taken as far as Swerve Strickland's concerned. He ascended to a point where the group became irrelevant because this guy, you have to cheer him. The work is too good. He's too dang talented. He's too dang charismatic. He has everything it takes, and he's really, really proven it. There's been a lot of signings, a lot of crossover over these last 5 years since AEW took off in 2019, right, and started. Swerve Strickland is the most impressive to me because he's one of the few who you always sat in the back of your mind and said, he's that dang talented. Like, he's so good. If he just gets the opportunity, if he just this, he forced everyone's hand on this. Everybody in every way. I mean, we forget it is not that long ago he and Keith Lee were holding the tag belts. And what has happened in the last 2 years as far as the momentum he has created, all of it, charisma off the charts, bringing in Rick Ross, which he deserves credit for. That's a huge deal when it comes to, like, having Rick Ross on AEW television, that was all Swerve. That was all Swerve. And it was a big deal at the time. It wasn't a big deal in the long run, but still, you don't see
DJ Who Kid, man.
DJ Who Kid.
People don't, as a hip hop fan, you listen to Drake's diss record response today to Kendrick Lamar.
Yep.
DJ Who Kid's tag is on it. This is a guy who's like of all the old school G Unit mixtapes back in the day. He's a very focal name in the hip hop world space, man. Like, it's dope to see.
As a fellow hip hop head, yeah, the connection is amazing. The entrance, still Big Pressure, his own song.
Yeah, man, performing at South by Southwest.
Unbelievable. Talk about a multi-talented star. Absolutely. I love I love everything that he's done over the last basically couple years since he's made the jump to AEW. And I think a crowning moment at Dynasty would be outstanding. As good as Joe is too. That is not what it's not a knock on Joe. Because I love Samoa Joe. Yeah, I think also the way he's kind of stood as the stoic, strong figure during a lot of this storm with the Punk drama and everything, carried the title with grace, has been amazing, and that is not to be overlooked. But I do think
Samoa Joe has definitely been, when we look back and just all of the stuff that happened through Brawl Out and then with MJF's injury, like, that's kind of what a vet does, man. He's really taking a lot of the responsibility of, making sure everything is straight, making sure the locker room is straight, and they can get out of any whatever weird situation the company may put themselves through on hard times. So, I mean, you got to definitely give him his credit.
If you pull up the word, modern day veteran, it is Samoa Joe, of what he's done. He took the title, he ran with it. He's had a good run with it. I would love to see more of it personally, but I understand with Swerve, he did the interview about Brawler, and he says, "Oh, just a wee thistle. We've a little situation happened, but we've rectified it." And that's the kind of thing you should do as a world champion representing the company. He is a man that does good business, but is a good person as well.
Absolutely. I agree. And then we've got Hood Intellectual over here in the comments on YouTube with, I think that BHM promo that just got him over. There was something candid and genuine about that in-ring interview he did. I totally agree. He also said, albeit Ross has been a part of wrestling programs from Impact to MLW. That's true. And then he said the engagement of rap and wrestling is too strong. LOL. Definitely.
Got a rapper and a wrestling podcaster here.
It's the best. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in, by the way. That does, though, bring us all to the end of the show today. It's been a blast. On behalf of me, Clark, Anthony Ricciardi, Shoddy, Soul, thank you so much. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do. It means the world to us. Check out all of our stuff. Check out Next Level. We've got daily broadcasts tomorrow and Sunday before Dynasty. It's going to be a great weekend for wrestling. It's been a great couple of weeks for wrestling. Hood'Intellectual would love you guys keep growing. We appreciate that, man. Thank you. Absolutely. And
Appreciate it. Much
everyone
love,
have an awesome Friday. Let's have some fun. Maybe watch SmackDown tonight, and then we got wrestling. We might have a boxing match tomorrow night. We might not. I don't know. That's for another day. Everyone have a good one, and we'll talk soon.